Abigail here from Evening Star Astrology. I hope you are all doing well today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to another video. If this is your first time, hi, my name is Abigail. I'm an astrologer, a yogi, general student of life, and on this channel I like to make videos about astrology, tarot, veganism, and general spirituality. So today I have your forecast. This is for the week of August, October 19th through 25th. We have a lot to talk about this week, so I have my apple cider and my freshly purple hair, which is not just because of the lights, it is purple. I don't know actually how it looks on camera, so fingers crossed. And yeah, let's dive on in. So perhaps the biggest event, or at least biggest shift in energy this week, is the sun moving into Scorpio. This happens every single year, and this year it's happening on October 22nd. We're moving from Libra, which is an air sign, a cardinal sign that's ruled by Venus. Scorpio, on the other hand, is a water sign, it's a fixed sign, and it's ruled by Mars. And Scorpio really comes down on either side of the debate. It's black and white thinking. It's either this is correct or it's incorrect. There's no gray, if you will. And Scorpio season this year is especially interesting because we have Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, retrograde in Aries. So I will be interested to see how the Martian aggressive side of Scorpio plays out while Mars is retrograde. The good thing about this Scorpio season is that Scorpio makes a sextile to Capricorn, which is a positive aspect, but it's not particularly powerful. It's just kind of, it's better than nothing, but it's just kind of a mildly pleasant, if you will. It's not like joyous, but it's helpful. And so with the sun, which is the sense of self, our identity, like who we are, working with rather than against all the planets in Capricorn, challenges will be a little bit easier during Scorpio season. Relative, compared to Libra season. But the sun moving into Scorpio represents that the sun, i.e. the self, is no longer in a square or conflicting hard aspect with everything in Capricorn. So even though things might still be challenging, they will feel a little bit less challenging, and the energy of the challenging planets in Capricorn becomes more constructive rather than destructive. So instead of your life crumbling apart, it may still be difficult, but you can actually make steps towards implementing new habits or getting work done that needs to get done. So we have that to look forward to. The Scorpio season features a Mercury retrograde. I think I've mentioned this before, Mercury retrograde gets a lot of hype in the astrological community and in kind of pop astrology. Mercury retrograde isn't really that big of a deal. It's just a time to wrap things up, conclusions, endings, and then revisiting the past rather than starting something new. That's basically all there is to Mercury retrograde. It's not going to completely destroy your life. It's not something you can blame your problems on. It just simply means that while Mercury is retrograde, which is until November 3rd, election day, Mercury is kind of signaling us to slow down and revise rather than create. Yeah, basically this Scorpio season is a time to take baby steps towards making progress and kind of getting things done in a very orderly and constructive manner, but it's not a time to start something new, if that makes sense. If you've been working on a project, if you have, if you're in the middle of your term, if you're in school, whatever it is going on in your life, if you are working towards something, keep working towards it, keep making steps, and make a game plan to get it all done. But while Mercury is retrograde, so through November 3rd, this isn't the time to start something new, sign any contracts, do anything that binds you in any way, or commits you to a new project. Rather, work with what you have, because I'm sure you have a lot on your plate that you've been ignoring lately. Get the things done that have been piling up, and then once Mercury goes direct, we can worry about moving forward and adding new things in. And then just a little bit about Scorpio as an archetype. If you're unfamiliar, Scorpio is our fixed water sign. The element of water represents emotions, our intuitive nature. It can represent spirituality as well, or just emotional connection. In the tarot system, the Suit of Cups, which is related to the element of water, represents relationships a lot of the time and creativity. So During Scorpio season, there's kind of this element of emotional connection, intelligence, and if nothing else, awareness. Just kind of a greater sense, and again, awareness, I wish I had a better word, but an awareness of how you feel, how others feel, how different things make you feel in your life. Do you feel good after you do this activity, or does scrolling through social media for several hours make you feel really bad? I just watched The Social Dilemma, so I have social media on my mind and like, oh, it's so evil, and like the Scorpio season, like, get into that. But anyway, Scorpio is also a fixed sign, meaning that it is slow to change. It's very set in its ways. So during Scorpio season, you may feel a little bit more stubborn than normal and a little bit like, this is the way I like things and I don't want to change them. This can be a good time to like really deepen a practice. Like if you have started something new recently, maybe you've taken up yoga or meditation, or maybe you're trying to read more or learn an instrument or do something that's very creative. Again, Scorpio is a water sign, so creativity is encouraged. But since Scorpio is a fixed sign, if you really want to solidify something and kind of like cement it in your life, this is a good time to do so. I just have this image in my mind of Scorpio season as like this pot of water on the stove, and it's boiling. It's coming to a boil slowly, but once it boils, it's dangerous. It could hurt you. It has a lot of power in it, but it can be power that's used for good, like to make some pasta or some tea, and it has power for evil, like burning you or melting something. I don't know. That analogy didn't come out as strong as I had hoped it would. But basically, Scorpio season, it's kind of associated with power and the unseen and spirituality and like the darker side of things, which is like why my look today is like so purple and dark. Like when I think of Scorpio, I think of dark purple. I'm really just rambling at this point. Basically, if you want to know how Scorpio season is going to affect you personally, because it's easy for me to sit here and say, Scorpio season is this generally. But really when it comes down to it, I highly recommend looking at your birth chart with an accurate rising sign. And then whatever house you have Scorpio in, that is the house that will be activated during this season. Basically, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, it moves into a new house in your birth chart and illuminates that area of your life. For example, in my chart, I'm a Virgo rising, so Scorpio is my third whole sign house. So during Scorpio season, themes around communications, writings, publications, siblings, learning, etc., those themes get activated for me. Wherever Scorpio is in your chart, that is what will be going on for you, or an area of your life that you may feel a little bit more like aware of, if nothing else. All right, I'm going to dive into the astrological transits of this week. If you don't really want to listen to the astrology, if it's too technical for you, totally okay. I'll put a timestamp somewhere on the screen of where the oracle card reading starts, so you can just jump ahead to that to get your advice and words of wisdom. All right, if you're ready to dive into the astrology of this week, you're in the right spot. This week is sorry, I'm looking down at my notes, but this week is one of those weeks astrologically where there seems to be something every single day. And starting off with Monday the 19th, this is an especially interesting day because we have perhaps the best aspect, or most favorable, if you will, aspect of the entire month of October. We have the benefics, i.e. the good planets, Jupiter and Venus making a trine to each other. So it's the two positive planets making a very strong and positive aspect to each other. Under normal circumstances, this would be great. In 2020 especially, this is great. However, the catch is that both of these planets are in their fall right now. The thing about this aspect, though, is that both Venus and Jupiter are in their fall right now, meaning that they are in the sign that's opposite the one that they are exalted in. So if we think of planets like being in their domicile or exalted as like in their own home, with the food that they like in the fridge, like their chargers loaded and ready to go in the right spots, all of the resources, a comfortable bed, etc. But comparatively, planets in their fall, which is where Venus and Jupiter are right now, think of it as like you're staying in a shitty Airbnb in a city you don't really know that well. The electrical outlets don't work, so you can't charge your phone. The Wi-Fi doesn't work. The fridge doesn't have any food, or it has food that you're allergic to. you can't get comfortable, and you don't have your normal resources to draw on. So it's a lot harder to do your normal day-to-day things. You're kind of fighting an uphill battle just to get a baseline or a point of functioning that is productive. That being said, this is probably one of the most positive aspects of the entire month and really the entire year because, again, we have the 2 positive planets making a strong positive aspect. This is a good day for creativity, for expanding your dreams and your visions, like things that bring you joy, good things related to money or creativity or friendships or relationships. This is the day to kind of develop that dream and grow on it if you can. However, another catch on this day is that Mars is also making a square to Jupiter. So Mars is in Aries and Jupiter, of course, is in Capricorn. So to me, this day kind of feels like having the big dreams, the big goals of like, this is where I want to be, this is who I want to be with, this is what I want my life to look like, and here's how I can grow. And then Mars is like, we don't have any energy in the tank, we can't actually make that happen. Or there's stalling or minor slip-ups that cause a lot of irritation on the way. So this might be a day to think about and plan what you want to do in terms of growth and relationships and money and creative projects or really anything that brings you joy, but maybe not act on it yet. Like, visualize, make a vision board, but this isn't the day to like start your website or go out there and like promote your passion project or your creative pursuits. And then on Tuesday the 20th, we have Mercury, which is retrograde, in Scorpio, making an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. I don't know why that was so hard for me to get out. But we've already seen this aspect once in October. We saw it on October 7th when Mercury was moving forward, and now that Mercury is moving backwards, it's going to hit almost the exact same degree. So this day is quite interesting. There's an energy of changes or shakeups in the way that we think and speak and communicate with others, in the way that we process the world around us. So on this day, be aware that the way you think about things or the way that you approach communicating with others might change. And also, you may be on the receiving end of that. This day is just a bit of a shakeup. Like I mentioned, Mercury is retrograde right now. So our thoughts are a little bit slower and like making connections is a little bit more challenging than normal. And then think of like putting that in a jar and shaking it up. That's what Uranus does on this Tuesday. Again, it's a single day. This aspect goes by pretty quickly, so we're not too concerned with it. But just something to be aware of, that on this day your thinking might be a little bit rattled. So then on Wednesday the 21st, we have Venus in Virgo making a trine to Pluto in Capricorn. Venus is now making trines to all the planets in Capricorn, so this week we hit all 3 of them. And Venus making a positive aspect to Pluto, it kind of takes a bit of the destructive edge off of Pluto. At the same time, the alternate expression of this aspect is that destruction could be kind of covered up in a very pleasant way, or if you want to kind of break things down in your life or get rid of things, this is kind of a nice day to do it in a polite way. You know, like if you want to quit your job and move across the country, this might be a nice day to like tell your boss in a way that's very sociable and harmonious and doesn't completely burn down bridges. I feel like this aspect kind of brings peaceful endings. So instead of like burning bridges and ruining everything forever and like making it very permanent, Venus trine Pluto is kind of like closing that chapter, closing up the book, and politely putting it back on our shelf so we can go back to it later if we want to, but at the same time having a conclusive ending. And then on Thursday the 22nd, the sun moves into Scorpio. I've already talked about this aspect or shift in energy a lot, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. But basically, this just means that the sun is moving from a sociable, pleasant, harmonious air sign into a darker and more secretive and introspective water sign. That's basically all it means. It doesn't mean a huge shift in your life, but if you're aware of your birth chart, I would recommend going and looking and seeing where Scorpio falls in your chart and journaling a bit, maybe noticing what themes of that house are coming up for you. And yeah, Sun moving into Scorpio. And then on Saturday the 24th, we have Venus in Virgo making a trine to Saturn in Capricorn. Like I mentioned, Venus is kind of hitting all of the Capricorn planets, and this is number 3 of 3. And like I've already said, a trine is a positive aspect, so this is about as constructive as it gets. For October, this is kind of a day to work on solidifying routines that will help you get more money or help strengthen your relationships. Because Saturn rules over rules and regulations and restrictions and is very much concerned with limiting and contracting rather than expanding, Venus kind of adds this harmonious and peaceful aspect or essence to it. Basically, Venus trine Saturn, it's not like all positive aspect, but it adds a little bit of harmony and relational intelligence or success into our limitations. So instead of just constricting in a way that's harmful, it's kind of constricting in a way that leads us to better things, if you will. And then finally on Sunday the 25th, we have a Sun-Mercury cazimi. Cazimi is basically just a fancy term for a conjunction between any planet and the Sun. So on Sunday the 25th, the Sun and Mercury will be at exactly the same degree in Scorpio. And this aspect usually indicates success with communication, with writing, with, sharing of ideas, expressing yourself. But since Mercury is retrograde right now, I would advise that you use this day to revise things. If you're working on job applications or writing a paper or doing some project for work, this is a really great day to go back and check your work. Like double and triple check. Like, did I spell everything right? Does this make sense? Maybe even have someone else proofread it. This is a good day to have some editing eyes look at your work. Also, if there are any doors you want to close at this time in your life, or old relationships or situations or jobs or whatever that kind of need closure, this would be a really good day for you personally on like an emotional fulfillment level to really close those doors, have that closure, have that final conversation, and then let that part of your life fall away. But yeah, basically this is a really good day to revise and edit and kind of like go over anything in the past that needs to be revised or otherwise be given attention so that you can have closure with it. Basically the astrology this week, we have a few aspects that kind of color each of the days. Mercury is still retrograde, so it's a really good time to revise and edit and close old chapters. And then Venus making trines to everything in Capricorn kind of gives us a nice and pleasant tone to any destruction or limitations or rules or other things that we need to wrap up. So let's grab some oracle cards and get some advice and words of wisdom for the week ahead. I've pulled our 3 cards for this week. The first one is content with what I already have, which I think is really lovely. I think this is lovely at any time, but especially this week when Venus, which kind of wants to indulge a bit, is making aspects to everything in Capricorn, which wants to restrict. We're kind of being tugged in 2 directions, like, do I continue to grow? Do I allow things to settle? Do I restrict myself even further? And this card is just encouraging you to be comfortable with what you have. Be content with what you have. I think that generally in times of challenge and strife and, a global pandemic and an upcoming election that everyone is really stressed about, it's really easy to get worried about the future or nostalgically look at the past. And both of those mindsets of being anxious about the future and reminiscing for the past are pulling us away from the present moment. And I feel like when we come back to the present moment, it's a lot easier to be content with what you already have, because you're more aware of what's around you and the gifts that can be found with what's all around you. I feel like I keep looking over at my bookshelf because I buy so many books and I'll buy 3 and read one of them, and I'll buy 3 more and read one of those. And so I'm just looking at my bookshelf I have a lot to read here, and I'm so content with what I have. I don't need to get anything else. It could be materialistic or physical in your life. It could be appreciating the relationships that you have, or even just your basic needs. I'm so content with my living space. I'm so content with the food I made for dinner. Just being content with what you already have. The next card is Deep Intuition, which is so perfect for Scorpio season. Scorpio, again, is a water sign and it's fixed, so it's a very like focused type of water. It's not like, let me just kind of feel it out. It's like, I'm gonna dive deep within myself, look into those secrets, like uncover things in myself that may have been hidden, especially during Libra season, which prioritizes like comfort and harmony over truth. This deep intuition of Scorpio season will help you get to the truth, to the honest reality of the way things are. With this deep intuition card, I feel kind of called to tell you, like, meditate, look within yourself, journal, and allow yourself to just feel. Allow yourself to make decisions based on what you feel. And the thing is that you don't always need to explain why you feel a certain way or why you think something should be done the way it is. Sometimes you just get that gut feeling of like, I innately know that this is right for me, or this is right in this moment. And so this week I encourage you to follow that intuition. And to strengthen your intuition, like I said, you can journal or meditate or just self-reflect, allow yourself to sit in silence without distractions, and get more in touch with yourself. So that's the second card for this week. And then the third card is Ride the Wave, See Where It Takes You, which is really interesting because when I first pulled this card and then the Content with What I Already Have, I thought those are kind of the exact opposite. Like, why would I ride the wave towards new things if I'm supposed to be content with what I already have? But the thing is that it's a dialectic and life is always moving forward. We can't stop it. We can't change it. Life is just kind of going the way it's going. And at the same time, we don't need to worry about the future. We don't need to project or attach ourselves to certain goals and wishes. It's more so just riding the wave, and I'm not saying just become passive and don't plan for the future and don't have goals or ambitions. Like, for example, let's say that you're applying for a new job. It's important to do all the work. It's important to make sure your resume looks really good. It's important to like get your references lined up, to do a good job in the interview. But not attaching to yourself to, I have to get this job. Just allowing yourself to ride the wave and be content with what you have in the moment. Like, feel proud of the work you're doing, take the steps that need to be taken, but ultimately, you're gonna go where you're gonna go, and it may not be exactly what you planned for, but that's where life will take you. So, being content with what you have in the moment, while at the same time understanding that sometimes things flow in a different direction than expected. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for this week. These cards, I've never seen these before, so I'm really excited that we pulled them this week. Be content with where you are, allow yourself to ride the wave, and especially riding the wave of your intuition. Understanding that your emotions are not always pleasant or preferable, but just allowing yourself to feel what you feel, and that's where you can gain wisdom from your intuition. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know how you're feeling about Scorpio season, and all of that. Also, please subscribe if you aren't already. And if you want to see me in other places, I'm trying to be on social media less. Like I said, I just watched The Social Dilemma, so like social media usage is very fresh on my mind. But you can follow me on Instagram. I deleted Twitter. My Instagram is @AstroAbs. And I don't really post on TikTok, but you can follow me on TikTok @AstroAbs3. Yeah, that's all for today. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!